Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Based on our show last week, I've decided to change microphones. How do I sound? Honestly, really, how do I sound? Because I may have to adjust gains and everything ever so slightly. But I figured I'd go with this. It's a little more detailed. Don't mind the pop of the seltzer. Good. Apparently sounding good so far. I've also done other changes too. So the way it was before, there we go. That's the first one on air. The way it was before is my audio went to my video capture card, and my video capture card got analog audio in and the HDMI out of my computer to send to you guys. But just like you're saying, Music Emotion, the right side of the converter clipped before the left side. I can never get things sounding right. Sometimes the right side would pop and things were being weird. A little bright says Bob's. Bob's, different mic. This is what we were talking about last week. A different mic. I can probably throw an EQ on if we really need to, but... So instead of using the video capture card as my audio into you guys, use what you got, right? I have a little Behringer USB mixer. Just go 1/4 inch out of your interface into the mixer, which is USB to you guys. Should be way better now. Also, I can see when I'm talking, making sure that it's going to you guys. I have multiple meters now. I think things are going to be way better. Steve K, you look marvelous. Have you lost weight? You look good. I think you're looking good, man. But thank you so much. Sound very crisp and clean with plenty of volume and no clipping thus far. Like I said, things should be pretty good. I think if we just get rid of that, the video capture, that thing was doing a thing. So, hey, Bobby, what's going on, man? I use the SM7 RE20 sound. Oh, you're used to the SM7. Well, I mean, hang on, I gotta move some stuff. If you want it next week, we can put this in line. Although I'm gonna have to gain it up because it's an SM7. But if you're really desperate, we can do that next week. Also, you guys are probably hearing there's way more rejection when I come like out of the area. But I think I did a pretty good job. There's a nice little bit of distance. There's no pop filter, but I'm kind of far enough away that there shouldn't be any plosives or anything. But keep letting me know how things are. Ronald, sounds great in the iPhone. Nice. Now, Ronald, you're watching on an iPhone. Today's subject might be a little difficult for you. Because today we're going to go over different console emulations. We live in the digital world. We sort of dabble in the analog world. But everything was built in the analog world. That's where everything came from. And plugin manufacturers make console emulations because that's the sounds that we're all used to, is the sound of the sound of analog recording consoles. So that's what we're doing today, is we're going to go over a whole bunch of them. Right now, I have 9 stacked up ready to go. And we're going to, just see what it's doing. So we'll get into this in a second. But I have 9 different console emulations that, these are ones that I have in my library right now, just ready to go. So we're talking Neve emulations. We're talking API emulations. We have Focusrite emulations. And I think I have like 3 or 4 different SSL emulations going on. And it really should show how these different consoles impart different characteristics to your sound. If they didn't, consoles would be dime a dozen and it wouldn't matter which one you did. But there really was something of like if you mixed on an Neve versus if you mixed on an API, if you mixed on an SSL. And this is really just going to touch into the sounds of these consoles. The way I have the mix set up right now, it is just a fader, balance, and pans. I'm out of focus. It's just a fader, balance, and pans. And that's it. So everything that we're going to hear is just with the console emulations turning on and finding out the saturation that those emulations are going to be doing to our signal. So it might be very subtle if you're watching on a phone, or if you're watching through a phone speaker. So if you can, probably throw in some headphones, AirPods, actual headphones, in-ears, hook it up to your studio monitors. This one you're definitely going to want to listen to on some stuff. Are you going to talk about the Studio One mix effects? Yeah, actually, we can. It'll only take a minute to do, and it's really fast, so we can absolutely do that. That's not a problem. And I'm just going to do that on the bus level, only because Mix FX works on the bus level, so it'll actually be relatively quick and easy to do. But you'll see what I'm doing. Okay, let me catch up with you guys real quick. Shenanigans. Robert, are you starting shenanigans? Whenever you hear a good burp, you'll let us know. No, I try and keep them in a little. You believe me, I can let some out if I need to. Seems to be a good pattern and picking up enough, so we'll hear when you move around. I'm gonna do some of this. What am I doing? Come on. See, Ronald, no worries. I'm in front of the studio just exporting some stems. Ah, very nice. From your X8P, excuse me. Mika's here. What's going on, Mika? Hope they're herein are well. Mika, we hope you are well as well. I used to love the mixer in Reason, which is based off of the SSL 9000. We might get into that. The BrainWorks one. Yeah, we'll have some fun with that. Let's see. Brian, are you going to talk about the mix effects? Yes, we can get into those. But now I'm not as much a fan due to how you have to manipulate things on it. It's much easier and better workflow to use inserts. Yes. Mika's here hanging out. Everybody's happy to see him. Catching up. Robert Atkins, will this be interesting because you've got like the Mixbus DAW, which prides itself for emulating a console, and you got Slate plugins that supposedly emulate consoles. Yes, we're going to be getting into the Slate stuff. I don't have Mixbus. You guys know. I use Studio One. That's my thing. That's one of my things, but that's what you're all here for. Luna is doing some great stuff too. Yes, and these are things to experiment with yourselves, especially if you have UAD. You can get the Luna platform and do things with that, because they have Neve summing, and they have other ones as well, and they're unison pre's and all of that stuff. Ready to get in? Let's dive into the DAW. Here we go. Okay, so before we get into anything, I'm just going to go back here, and I'm now instantly going to remember that my keyboard shortcuts aren't on, because I need to make a checklist and actually do some things to show that my keyboard shortcuts are on. So there's that. And you guys are always watching me make the mouse bigger, because I do this for you guys. Okay, there. Nice big mouse. Right? Yes. Nice big mouse. Cool. Cool. Keyboard shortcuts. Lovely. Question for you guys real quick, though. Would you rather go over the science-y stuff first, or do you want to go over the sounds first? What do you think? Let's see. Music to Motion owns Mixbus. Can't see the knobs, too small. Understandable. Wasn't a fan at first, but my friends put me onto it, and the API and Neve emulation and the Studer emulations are out of this world. He's talking about those ones from UA and the Luna platform. Smash Studios is here. What's going on, Smash? Also, thank you everybody for coming and hanging out, hitting the like button, subscribing, all of that other good stuff. Thanks for coming and hanging out. All I need is a warm channel. Science. 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 All right. I like you guys. I knew we could do this. Let's get back in over here. I'm going to scroll all the way over, and my face is covering up a little bit of stuff, but I'll move it so you can see it. Starting things off. Tone generator. There's the science. Here's a tone generator. It's making a 1K, or actually, excuse me, it's making 440 hertz. This is supposed to be 1K. It is now making a 1K sine wave. And it's making this sine wave at minus 18 dB full scale. and I'm not sweeping at all. So it is just going and that really annoying, boo. Okay, you're off air. Cool. So what I then have underneath my face, and I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to grab my face, and I'm going to grab my face, and I'm going to unlock it, and whee! Let's go over here today. I'll try and remember that I'm down over here now. So I have the tone generator, and after the tone generator, I have all of the consoles we're going to be using today. And at the very end is an instance of FabFilter. And thankfully, I've hit mute so that no one has to hear this. And you can see with nothing going on, here's our 1K sine wave. It's perfect wave, 1K, minus 18. Don't worry about it. It's saying like plus 3. It's the scale that we're on, and it's the dB. This scale is how much you're adding, whatever. That doesn't matter, right? I'm going to take me, and I'm going to put me back over, over here, kind of up and out of the way, right? Over here's a decent spot. Let me lock that back in again. Okay, so I'm going to leave this open, and I'm going to put it underneath my face over here. And you guys are going to see everything that's going on because it's all going to live right underneath my head, right? Tone generator is going, and I'll prove it to you. Turn it off. FabFilter goes away, right? Beep. There it is. So let's start off with our first one. This is the Brainworks Audio in conjunction with Plugin Alliance, the Lindell 80. So this is a Neve emulation. Really cool. And what I'm doing to show you guys what's going on, and I'm just going to make it big real quick, is most of the plugins that we're going over today have a THD or total harmonic distortion control on them. By default, it's relatively low. To show what's actually going on, I'm cranking the heck out of it. And you'll see, even with cranking the heck out of it, I have to push it kind of hard. And you're only going to get a little bit of changes going on here. So let's go back in. And I'm just going to show you the first one, and then I'm going to catch up with you guys. But let's take a look at what's going on. So let's see. So we have our harmonic distortion is all the way up. And we have the plugin completely bypassed. It's like not even bypassed. It's just not active right now. So here's our boop sine wave, right? Nice, clean, all the way up, 1K. Watch what happens when we turn this on. Look at all of these little bumps. And even though they're going away, just turning them on and having that instance of and getting the noise out there caused us to see the saturation and the harmonics that's going on. And remaining is a peak right here and a peak right here at 2 and 3K respectively. 2K being our even order harmonics and 3K being the odd order harmonics. And our odd order are actually a little bit higher than our even order. And as you get higher and higher, the amount of saturation and harmonics you're going to get is going to go down. You have to drive things harder and harder. So that's why, like, you know, as you go higher up, like when you get to 4K and like, you know, this scale is too low, but when you get to 4K, there is saturation and harmonic distortion going on, 5K, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's going to be linearly or logarithmically down, I should say. Harmonics are good. No, yes, harmonics are great. That's what these things are doing, is they're adding harmonics and they're adding saturation. And so it's imparting sounds. It's adding to the sounds that exist going through the channel. And the cool thing about like the Plugin Alliance ones is there's many channels. These consoles are based off of actual consoles, and all of those modules were different and they all sounded slightly different. So what we can do in a little bit when we get into the channels is actually start randomizing these channels. And even though we're not pushing the EQ and we're not changing things on the compression, you'll still have little variances here and there. What you're doing with most of these plugins, when you're changing things like that, is you're actually changing the EQ curves of of each channel. So like, you know, if you're pushing 1K, maybe you're not actually bumping up 1K, you're bumping up 1K and 15 hertz, you know, or 996 hertz. It's little variances here and there, but you know, it went past quality control when they were making these things originally, and so they imparted some of those sounds into the plugins. Before we get into other ones, this is essentially what we're going into, and we'll dive into some more of these in a second, but let me catch up with you guys real quick. So I'm gonna make my face kind of big because we're just talking real quick. Here's where everybody was saying science and science and science. Yes, yes, while showing, let's see, do science while showing each so we can hear and interpret what the science is doing while we hear it. Well, we can probably do that at the end because I can just have Fab Filter open on the mix bus. It's going to be hard to see because it's going to be happening so fast, but maybe we can do it. Should be okay. Tim Nye, the science guy again, at your service. Garan, science, please. Yes, we've gotten into it. She blinded me with science. But Studio One is killer. Sorry, I'm a Studio One user. No, you don't have to be sorry at all. I use Pro Tools when I need to. You know, use the tools that are there so that you can get the job done. That's all that matters. Like, just do it. Robert Atkins, so am I still on 4 because I don't want to upgrade to Windows 10 and some of my plugins are old and won't work. Support will continue to drop for you, Robert. So relatively soon, you should think about upgrading. I understand where you're coming from because it's an investment, but think of it that way. It is an investment in your art and your craft, and you're paying yourself back when you do that. Let's see, 5.2 is coming. Wink, wink, wink. There's going to be some updates. That's all I know. Don't ask me about anything else. We saw some harmonics. Yes. Smash Studio still using version 3. If it still works, keep with it. Studio Steve. Hola, fellow audio compadres. Hola, friend. How are you? Mango Man. What's up, Mango? Version 3 is still good. Yeah, all the versions are good. I mean, like, if it works, on this old computer over here, I have Pro Tools 10. It still works. Works fine. When I need Pro Tools, I go over there. It's not often that I need Pro Tools these days. Music to Motion tried typing something and missed half of it. So he just said, never mind. Even harmonics are good, odd, or harsh to the ear. That's my understanding only. I think it's to the ear of the beholder. We'll go with that. Harmonics make things sound warm or have depth. They absolutely can. Yes. It works for what we are doing. Thinking Sphere would be nice. Added plugins. Oh, Sphere is nice. You get everything that they come out with, and you just get it. It's in there. So it really is a good deal. I know a lot of people don't really like the subscription model, but to me and for my workflow, actually, it does work. And things work out. A lot of my plugins are subscription stuff. So, but even harmonics sound good. Odd harmonics usually don't. Yeah, maybe. Because it depends on the order of the harmonics, that and the level of said harmonic distortions, whether the sound of the audio device or plugin. Exactly. It really is how the sound is through the thing. Mango. I need to learn more about harmonics and the different levels of saturation distortion. Robert, I have a video talking about the different types of saturation and the sounds that they do. Music to Motion, if you're able to, drop a link to that video. You know which one I'm talking about because it was your request. Uh-oh, I got notifications on. I need to hide those from over here real quick. Do not disturb on. I don't know why those are still going through. It's a good thing you guys didn't see that. You just saw it mini in the box over there. DJ Big Red, what's up, bud? How are you? Thanks for coming and hanging out. Home Studio Trainers here. What's up, Johnny? Let's see. Again, I'm catching up, and then we're going to go into more. Yes, it plays a big role in getting a mix to glue together. He's talking about the harmonics and the saturation that, channel strips can do for you. Everybody's saying hi to DJ Big Red. Ziggy's here. Robert Ziegler. Going to Windows 10 actually was long-term good looking back. Yes. That, and it's moving forward. And honestly, Windows 10, not bad these days. It took a little updates and everything. What's the difference when comparing odd, even, and heavy saturation? For harmonics and saturation, you're talking. I mean, like kind of like how everybody else was saying, sometimes you can say like even order harmonics might sound a little more pleasing, or odd odd order harmonics might sound a little bit more harsh, but it really is it's program dependent of what are you feeding into this thing that is getting that saturation, whether it be subtle stuff like consoles like we're doing today, or if it's like big gnarly guitar stuff. You just honestly play around with it, and we'll get a little bit of example here today. Let's see, I'm catching up, and then we're gonna get right back into it, and we're gonna start banging through these other consoles so you can see some of the differences that are going on. Not a sub fan. Oh, that's okay. Robbie Craig, long time no see. Yep. Let's see, Brainworks. I was looking at it. Yes. I'm trying to fast forward. Yeah. Another subject I have little knowledge of. Glad to make it. Johnny, I hope you learned something. We've already gone over a little bit. I don't know how long you were in. We'll kind of touch on it again real quick. But we're doing the science first. Sounds later. So we're going to get back into the science in a second. Do you usually have one of those channel strips on all the channels, or maybe just the important ones? It depends. The channel strip plugins actually are really handy because, on the analog consoles, they had all the tools that they needed. They didn't need all the racks of outboard gear. There was already EQ built in on some of the, more advanced consoles. There was compression and other things that you could do built right in, like gates or expanders, different aux sends you could send to like your reverbs and stuff like that. So, if you think about it like you would have when you were in the analog days, like everything had its own channel on the console. So today, everything that would have been a channel on the console has a plugin on it. And you'll see these things, they'll stack up. Blinding everyone with science. Link to the saturation video is coming from Music to Motion. Oh, he put it above, so go check that one out. I appreciate you, Music to Motion, for dropping links when I ask you to. That really helps. One thing I use here that I love, in addition to Sphere, is Console One. I've heard great things about Console One. I don't have it myself, but I have heard very good things. Not sure if you got into that, but wow, what a cool system with the emulated channel strips and the hardware to go with it. Yes, just having the tactile control and it's mapped to the hardware and something like the consoles, touching into some of the ones that we might be doing today. It's very cool. It's a cool little concept. All right, ready? You just got here. Let's get back into it. Everybody saying hi to Johnny. Say hi to Johnny. Science. All right, Johnny, this is what you missed. I'm going to put this back into bypass. Can't hear it, but here's our 1K. Oh, don't mind it hovering. Here's our clean 1K kilohertz, 1 kilohertz, 1K kilohertz, 1 kilohertz sine wave going into FabFilter so we can see exactly what's going on. Without doing anything, we're going to be watching down here. Watch everything above 1K. You'll see a bunch of little hills and valleys, right? When I turn this one on, you're going to see a bunch of little hills and valleys. Doosh. And all this little stuff. And then slowly, these two little peaks right here are just going to settle in. And these are the harmonic distortions that is happening when this 1K tone at minus 18 dB full scale is feeding our channel strip. And you can see, it looks like the compressor might be doing some stuff, but like we can just kind of even take some of this stuff out. I just want to make sure that everything is out. So there. So we have no compression. You can see our compressors returning back to 0 compression. Our inputs and output meters are the same. Maybe the output is a quarter of a dB or half a dB hotter. Music, Home Studio Trainer, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. 84, like a 1084 instead of a 1073. I see what it's doing. That's what it's doing. Those are even. I thought the way that it worked with these harmonics here is that the 2K is even and the 3K is odd. If I'm mistaken, I apologize, but I thought because 1 doesn't go into 3 very easily, 1 goes into 2 easily because you double. Even. 1 goes to 3, oddly, 1.5. That's my understanding. Again, sometimes I'm wrong, and I admit that. Most of the time I'm wrong. I admit that too. Okay, here's the Neve. This is what the Neve is doing. Let's kind of just go through the rest of our channels. Coming up next, and this is the order in which all of our channels are going to be today, is the Lindell 50. This is the API style console, also from Plugin Alliance and the Brainworks emulation. So let's do the same thing. We'll take our other stuff out. You can see our sine wave has returned to normal. We'll call it normal. 1 goes into 3 times. But 1 could do a common denominator. Again, I could be wrong, but usually with harmonics, it's a doubling of that tone. Because, you know, even 1 and 2, they don't double to make 3. I think that's where it is. Statement right, math wrong. Okay, probably. I'm not saying again. I'm getting close. Okay, let's pop on our API. We see our clean 1K. Boop. Look at this one. Right down here. Teeny, ever so tiny. There's a tiny little 2K guy down here. It's really hard to see, but it's down there. You can kind of see it. I hope you can. It's kind of faint. But look at this 3K harmonic right here. Much larger than what we were looking at on the Neve, the 80 console, the Lindell 80. We're going to take the API off and we're going to start banging through. Now we have the Focusrite console. I just want to make sure that a lot of my stuff... yeah. I want to turn some of these things off because I don't want them to, like, skew anything. All that off. All off. All of our harmonics are turned way up. Again, our harmonics on these channels are turned way up just to, like, push these tones. Focusrite. Very, very subtle. It's very clean console, the Focusrite, but it does have a sound. You can't even see what's going on over there, but, like, just look at the inputs and outputs on the meters here. The VU, the DBU. There is stuff happening, but even at this level, and if I crank this stuff all the way, like, making sure that everything is up, and let's just turn everybody on. Like, if I start adding some of this stuff in, you can see my outputs going up. I just want to turn everybody on. So it's engaging more of the channel. And now we're getting even more saturation and harmonics from our Focusrite channel. So we're going to turn this one back off. And then we're going to go to, I think, no, there's a bunch of console emulations from Plugin Alliance and Brainworks. And this is the what is it? The EX500, or they call it the Channel X. And this one is a much cleaner console. It doesn't do much initially, but if you turn some of these things on and start adding things in, you will get a little bit more. You can see there's a tiny little 2K peak going on down here. There he is. He's highlighted a little. But it is adding some extra saturation. Turning this one off and continuing on to another newer Neve style console. This is the console N from Brainworks. And let's do the same thing. Turn it on. And we'll make sure that everything's actually doing its stuff. It's pushed up. This is hardly showing anything at all. And we're not feeding anything into it other than the 1K tone, but our output has gone up. Watch the output over here for our tone. It does drop down, and I'm not doing any processing to this. So it does have a little extra beef, a little bit of saturation at this point. So it is adding something. I want to get through the rest of our consoles because these are the ones that we're going to be using for our demonstration with music in a few minutes. Oops, let me turn that one off because I want to make sure that we're not skewing anything. And then up next is the Plugin Alliance Brainworks SSL 4000E channel. And again, you can see here's our 3K saturation, and there's a little bit of 2K. It may not be actually processing or showing right now, but we're getting some of that saturation from just feeding a little bit of signal in. The Q changed also. Yeah, again. Oh, here's our, look at this. There's our 3K. So we're going to turn the SSL E off, and now, here you go, the SSL J. Same thing. He's down there. You see him? And let me do this. If I hover over this, shoop, there he is. He's down there. That's a 3K harmonic. Really tiny down there, but it is in there. And again, all of our stuff is all the way up. This is actually adding just like a little bit more noise. And don't worry about the meters. They're dancing. They're happy to be here. They're happy to show off for you. Then, moving on, this is an older version of this plugin, but this is the Waves SSL E channel. They also had the G channel, but I just went with the E right now. I think I have the G, or I don't. I can't remember. Let me just check, make sure I turn that off. I did. Here comes mono. Mono, doesn't matter. It's just a sine wave anyway. Turning this on, you saw it gave us a pop of noise all the way up. And this one does not have any really discernible saturation that's going on. But it is still imparting a sound. There is a little bit in here, but I think this is an older version of this plugin that Waves may have cleaned it up. They actually just released an updated user interface for this, and they've finally updated this plugin, which has been around for a very long time. So there might be some changes. So there could be some differences. Then we have the Slate Digital virtual channel, and this one has 6 different options in it. It has a Brit 4K, a Brit 4K, a Brit 4K-E, Brit 4K-G. It also has a USA, a Brit, and a trident kind of looking symbol, wink wink, and the RC tube. And when we turn this one on, you can see the Brit 4K-E is giving us our 2K. And then if we start changing this up, it changes the amount of saturation going on. We go to the USA, our 2K has gone away. We go to the Brit N. And I have this one, it's the drive. And SSL, yes, Music to Motion. SSL has released their own channel strip fusion. Mika Han, most of the harmonics are generated by drive levels and the EQ in analog mixers interacting with the output transformers at higher voltage levels. Yes, this isn't a perfect example because I'm not really pushing these channels. I'm just driving 1K into it. But as you do drive into these channels, how the circuitry and the transformers and everything worked together is what created more saturation for your sound. It's a clean 1K. That's why we're seeing like 2 and 3K, and like that's kind of it. But yes, the signal you drive in does interact with the components within those analog consoles and the saturation that you would get from them. This is kind of a basic overview of the different consoles that are available and some of the saturation that they can do. Look at that! Oh my goodness! We went all the way over to RC Tube, and look at this. Here's our 1K, a massive 3K, and finally, here he is, 4K. 5K, excuse me. That's 5K, so we can actually see our harmonics. Here's our 1K. I'm pointing to the screen like you can see this. Let me use the mouse. Here's our 1K, here's our 3K, here's our 5K, and that's the relative slope of harmonics. It does die out because it's just ringing. It's not the actual signal itself. Let's turn this guy off. And was there one more? No, there wasn't. I'm gonna come over here to catch up with you guys real quick. Get a big old mouthful of this. Turn some of these things off, including the tone generator. I'm gonna turn off Fab Filter, but I'm gonna throw one on to our mix bus so we can see what's going on. And I can do that kind of in the background. There we go. It's gonna stay on our screen. Let me catch up with you guys real quick, and then we'll get into our audio examples, which I'm sure everybody is interested to hear. So let's see. Console N is also a VXS, I think. It's either a VXS or it's a 88R or something like that. $20 super chat from Music to Motion. This is a very informative example. Great show. Thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, I'm going to come back to try and catch up with some of this. Studio Steve is asking if I have a Harrison or the Harrison mix bus. I do not. Let's see. I'm curious why it's called saturation because of THD. Well, it's harmonic distortion, and it's the signal being added with the distortion. So that signal, the original signal, is saturated with extra stuff. It's added, more things have been put onto it. And so I think that's where the term saturation has come from. Watch the bass of that again, and it goes from narrow to wide. He's talking, I think, when we were doing the console N, how it was like this very clean 1K spike, and then it went whoop and kind of widened out at the bottom. So the Q, or the bandwidth, changed of our spike. Yeah, and tape saturation. You literally were driving too much signal onto the tape, and you were saturating the tape. Will this all be on the test next week? Yes, absolutely, Brian. Please bring your own number 3 pencil and an A5 sheet of paper. Not sure I would know how to explain it. Yeah. Garan, I've had some Harrison stuff. Froze S1 on closing the plugin. Don't know why it did. Sorry. Mika, most of the harmonics that we were talking about of changing voltages and the transformers and things like that, or tubes, if that kind of console. Yes, it is a pop quiz. I'm going to ask you guys in a little bit. Even order, odd order harmonics. Tape was a bit different to me. It simply was tape saturation by overprinting to tape. Yes, it was just adding way too much onto the tape itself. SSL released her own channel strip. Yes. Yes, I don't know how to explain it. Oh, yeah. When recording super clean jazz pianos and classical instruments, one would keep the signal levels at moderate levels to reduce harmonic discolorations. Thank you, Mika. Yeah, so, you know, your rock guys and your pop guys, they would drive harder into the tape to get that fuller, saturated kind of sound, but the classical jazz recordings were much cleaner, much more conservative levels hitting the tape. Bob Studios, you're very welcome. Odd harmonics on the RC tube, yes. The SSL plugins are pretty crispy. I haven't had a chance to play around with them yet, so it's interesting to think. SoftTube has an API SSL 4000 and 9000. Yes, SoftTube, I think, has... SoftTube is awesome at their emulations that they have put out. And Music to Motion will bring crayons so he can color outside the lines. All right, let's get into our audio example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play for a little bit. We'll listen to a little bit of this song. This is Nova One Studio 4-gram. This is something that's available on the Cambridge MT multitrack site. So if you want to mess around with this song, you can do that as well. Just go to their site and download the multitracks. And that's the one we're going to mess around with here today. With just fader balance and panning. I've done nothing else. There's no mix bus compression or anything like that. It is literally, let me get this Fab filter out of here. It is literally just, I know it says that it's on. It's under my face. You can't see it. So let me squish this down a little. That should be enough. I don't have any mix bus processing going on. I do have some bus processing emulation of some of these other ones that we're going to go over today, but don't even worry about that. Here's our fader, and pan balance. It's a quick and rough, but here we go.
Did you see that man with the hat? I feel crazy. I'm losing.
Okay. I'm going to stop it there. You can hear it's a very dynamic sound. It's a very dynamic song. Starts real quiet, gets real big, gets quiet again, and slowly builds up. So there's a lot of different things going on. And this is where we are. You'll notice, one of the things I notice is the lead vocal kind of is really present in the beginning, but as the song fills out, he kind of falls back. Like I said, this is just a fader balance. It's a real rough, static balance that we have going on. Push some stuff out to the sides. I don't even get all the backgrounds out to the sides, and I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it real quick, just so we just get a little bit of information out to the sides, just to push stuff out of the way, because that's all we want to do is get out of the way of the lead vocals. Get out of here a little. Some of our acoustics are out of the way. Some of our guitars, okay. So that's where we are. Okay, cool. Once again, I'm going to fast forward to kind of where it picks up a little, and we'll take a listen to it again, balance, and then we'll go through. All of the channels all have all of our plugins on them. And the way I have it is they're grouped. So one click on any channel will turn all of the plugins in the same position on all of the channels to make things nice and easy for you. Rough balance, a little bit further in the song. Pre-chorus into chorus.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Which is calling. Your head thinks on me. I feel crazy. I'm losing. When the voice is calling, your head thinks on me. Just say goodbye.
So this, again, if you're listening on a phone or an iPad and just through the speakers, it's going to be extraordinarily subtle. That ends where I'm not doing anything on the channel, so I'm not pushing the emulations to drive the saturation that you would get when you're using these consoles. But there is a little bit of stuff going on. And I left the harmonic distortion in the default position. So it is less. It is extraordinarily subtle, but it is there. With the Neve, you get this nice warm sound in the low mids, and it just ever gets pushed this way when we listen right now with just having the console emulations turned on. I'm going to play it again at the same spot with the plugins on, and then I'm going to take them all out again.
I feel crazy. I'm losing.
Very subtle, but it's in the low mids. You can hear it fluffing and filling out in the low mids and adding nice body down there. Excuse me. Good opportunity here to show how to group all the channels so you can do this. Easy peasy. I'm just going to show you real quick. Let's get rid of our Neve real quick. And let's say we wanted to make a group for our bass guitars, because you want to do stuff and you want it to happen to everything at the same time. Shift, select your things. So let's do our drums, whatever. Click one, hold shift, click the other one, Control on a PC, Command on a Mac. G for group. So for me, Command G creates a group. Let's call this drums. And now they are grouped. And you can see right here, here's my all channels. This is the one I did before where it does everything for everything. And here's my drums. So if I wanted to go to my drums and turn off my all channels and do just whatever this compressor is, and now all of my drums have that compressor. And if I come here and remove it, all of my drums have lost that compressor. I'm going to remove this group, dissolve group. I'm going to turn my all channels on. But that's quick and easy groups in case you want to do stuff like that. Also, when you right click in your group assignments over here, you can change like the settings of it. So editing volume, pans, if you wanted all the pans to be linked, you could do that. Mute, solos, record, monitor, insert, sends. That's the main thing is inserts. I just hit one and did it across all of them. Let's go back to our drums. And we're going to turn our Neves off. And let's find something prettier to look at. And now we're going to go to API. Let's start with everything out right now. Brian King, what's going on? Thanks for coming and hanging out. Yep, sounds duller without the channel strip. Yeah, so this is subtle things, but adding them up, especially when you have this many tracks, I forget exactly how many tracks this song is, but when you have this many, you add them all in together, it does build up. And sometimes, if you're doing things right, in a very nice way. Let's see, not bad Brainworks. Most of them have a trial. Yes, most of them have a trial. Or if you're interested, there's a number of affiliate links in the description down below. So if you want to help support the channel, you can use those affiliate links at some of your favorite plugin things and probably get them for cheaper. So, spend some time A-Bing and taking breaks. Yes. Get your music ready to test and compare it. Yes, you really, I did this earlier today. I just sat there, I got my balance, I listened to the mix, and then I did all this, and I did exactly what we're doing here. This is a fast version of it, but this is what I did. I hear the brightness come out on that. Yes. Neve Products always adds color, even their DI. It's the transformers that they have in their stuff. It does that for a reason. Rest in peace, Rupert Neve. Yep, sounds duller without a channel strip. Good info. Thank you very much, Mika. Do you have an oscilloscope plugin to see the harmonic comparisons too? What we could do is throw on... Where'd FabFilter go? There's FabFilter. Let's do just the one built into Studio One. Here's the scope.
I feel crazy.
So what Mika was saying is that's there. What we could do is add this in over here. There's your tone generator. So here's our 1K tone. And if we throw on the Neve emulation that we were talking about, if we just turn it on, aha, so here's one. It's, increasing the amplitude. Mika, I think we're going to set up a different test to show how these things would like saturate differently. I think I have to set up a different test. So smart thinking with the scope. But let's set up a different test for another stream or another time. So we're going to leave FabFilter here. And we're going to go to our API console now because let's go through it. Clean mix, and then we'll throw API in. Great workflow trick. Thank you very much. Also, can you check the phase correlation differences between them too? You're welcome, Mika. Again, that may have to be a different. It may have to be a different video or a different stream. I'm not sure if this was addressed yet, but where do you stand on gain staging to -18 with these emulations? I don't care. It's digital world. If I need to turn it down, I can turn it down. Thomas, I'm a noob to mixing, but this is really enforcing the need for me to bounce everything and do a separate mixing session instead of trying to mix as I go. Yes, I've talked about this before. It's really important to You got it, Mika. It's really important to be in the mindset of the task you're approaching. At least that's my opinion, is when I'm writing, I want to write. I want to get things out there, and I just want to get the song out of my head. When I'm mixing, I want to be in the mindset to mix. So something I've talked about before is prepping your mixes the day before you're actually going to do them. So going in, so like earlier today, I didn't do all of this work right now in front of you guys. I did all of it earlier today because I was like, I got to get ready. So I went in, loaded all the multi-tracks in, put them in my organization like I always do for every mix session I have. I know all my colors, all that stuff. And like when I was in and labeled and everything was good, I stopped. I turned away. I did some other work. I answered some emails. I did some stuff. After half an hour or whatever it was, came back. Then I hit play. And then I started to do some stuff. It is really important to be in the mindset of the thing that you're doing because it'll help you make better decisions. API. Clean mix first.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Which is going your head things don't mean anything. Just think about world.
This one, I'll be honest, it took me a couple listens to hear it, but there is a little bit of separation in the mid-range that just makes a little bit more, it almost sounds like it's actually taking the mid-range and making it just a little bit wider. It's pushing it out of the way and making room for everything. Now, APIs have like this kind of aggressive kind of mid-range sound, but I'm not getting that aggression right now because we're not doing much in like the terms of EQ or compression. But it's actually opening up the mid-range just a little bit for me. Did you guys hear this too? I don't know the colors of my crayons. Proud of you, my music emotion. Well, you actually prepare for a show? Johnny, why do you think I only do one show a week? I gotta come up with this stuff, man. This one was way more subtle. It was way more subtle. I wonder what that's like. I didn't find out until, oh. This one's really subtle. Let's do it again. I'm going to leave it in right now. Listen to the mid-range, kind of like the 1K-ish area. Listen to the mid-range, listen to his vocals. When it's in, there's a little bit more room, even though it's like almost a little more refined and like kind of withdrawn, it spreads out just a little. API in first, and then we'll take them out.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Which is going your head things don't mean anything. Just think about world apart. If you feel like coming home tonight.
Very subtle, but it pushes things out a little wider for me. The harder you drive hardware APIs, the more scoop they do, just a bit. Yep. Again, you have to play around with these things for yourself. Sorry, but you really do. Let's move on to our next one. This will be fun. This is the Focusrite console, also from Plugin Alliance and with the collaboration from Brainworks. Clean mix first, then we'll drop it in. Darren, turn all of them on together. I am Darren. They're all linked together, so when I hit one, every single one of them turns on together. Thank you for pointing it out, though. I'm sorry if you missed that earlier in our discussion. But yes, the way I have it is if you watch my drums, like I'm going to do it on the bass right now. If I click on the bass, everybody turns on. Okay? So if I turn the bass off again, minus me actually doing it while zoomed, everybody turns off. Okay? Good call out. Got you covered. Focusrite. Clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing.
So this one, again, because it's Focusrite, and Focusrite consoles were designed by Rupert Neve, especially the ISA consoles. It's more about the warmth and the low mids, and this one is way more subtle than the Neve, the 80 series that we were listening to before. Combined channel strips. Maybe we could do that at the end where we just turn everybody on and we saturate like crazy. Let's see what we get. That could be a fun little sound. I think I meant to turn each and every insert on. Oh, yeah. Maybe turn all of them on together. Oh boy. Let's catch up. Thomas goes, thanks, helpful. I don't want to derail the informative discussion. I picked up Isotope Neuron in a bundle, and it's frustrating trying to learn AI-assisted mix when I've already made a bunch of tweaks. Yeah, I need to mess around with it. I think I have the free version or the essentials version. I haven't really messed around with it. So. Combine channel strips, right. Boom, prepared, ready to go. Yeah. When it calls for sharing at default panning fader. When it calls for starting at default panning fader position. Oh, that means like doing what I did before, where you get a balance and a pan position and then throw a neuron. I think. I don't know. I have to mess around with it. Sure, why not distort everything? Do it! How do you gang them to mix bus? I came late. This was something I did in preparation. I'll show you in a little bit, Brian, if you just hang out for a little while. So funny. All I hear are the vowels, no words. Again, and also, Johnny, you should know this, man. You actually get more power from a vocal in the vowels. Consonants are short, they're tight, they're percussive. So he's when he's doing in your head, those are all vowels. Vowels are long and they stand out, but consonants short and percussive. So this vocal, which is not compressed or anything, and it really needs it, all you're really hearing, it does get lost a little, I admit, but you're hearing those vowels because they're long and loud. Thomas, it's okay that you're new, man. Everybody starts something new sometimes. You really have to drive these plugins for them to deliver noticeable color. I mean, drive them. Yes, that's why we did in the test. We cranked it. And maybe what we'll do is we'll take one of these at the end and we'll just drive it. So instead of talking about like what things we're going to do, let's just keep moving forward. The Lindell Channel X Clean Mix. That's the wrong computer.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. I feel crazy. I'm losing.
This is an unfair advantage. I'm looking at my bass channel right now, and there's compression happening, and I didn't dial in any compression settings. So the default settings on this channel is adding some stuff. I'd like to take this opportunity to say I'm sorry to you all. Thank you. So, a little bit of an unfair advantage. There are other things happening. Like we're watching the bass get compressed, and you can actually hear the compression happening when everything comes in. Let's take this one out.
I feel crazy.
I can hear the kick immediately, and I know that the kick is buried in this mix. There's no attack on the kick in these multi-tracks. But when I turn these on, I can actually start to hear I can hear like the thump, and the compression is helping that come out. Unfair advantage. This has some stuff going on. Let's move on to the next one. You cheater. Another Neve, also from Plugin Alliance and Brainworks, the console N. Clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Pushing slowly, going away. Your head thinks don't mean anything. Just think about what will haunt me. Did you feel like coming home?
So I'm going to cut myself off here. This is very similar, but not as strong as the other Neve. It's the low mids. This is kind of in line with the sound of the Focusrite, because there's not a lot happening right now. So you have to do stuff to drive the channels a little bit more. But this is going to have that same kind of low mid warmth that you'll get from Neve style or Neve designed consoles. So we're getting a little bit of it here. It's very subtle. Oops, go back. I'm kind of going a little faster now because we want to experiment with stuff based on your suggestions, stacking everything, putting all of the harmonics all the way up and like really saturating stuff. We can do all of that, but let's have some fun. SSL E, clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Pushing slowly, going away. Your head thinks don't mean anything. Just think about what will haunt me.
Ooh, the top end opens actually kind of nicely. Not super bright, but the listen to the crash cymbal in the chorus when he's going ksh, ksh, and I turn this on, it actually opens up a little, and that top end just kind of shines ever so slightly more. I'm going to leave it in, and then I'm going to take it out. So listen to the top end here.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Pushing slowly, going away. Your head thinks don't mean anything.
The top end opens up, and we're not doing anything. We're not adding anything at all, but the top end is getting real shimmery and opens up with the SSL E. Now we're going to switch things over to the SSL J. You'll notice most of these are Plugin Alliance, but they really make really good consoles. For some reason, the crash bothered me in that one. Too bad for you. Brian's asking how we turn off how I've been turning on and off all of the inserts. I have everything set into one group. All of my audio channels are set into a group. So you just select all of your audio channels. Command G or Control G if you're on a PC. We'll make your group, name it. You're off to the races. So that's how I'm doing it. If you don't have any settings or master bus stuff, you can turn all of these off. And I'm not sure what that was. Are the Neves simulating the same model? No, they're different Neve consoles. The first one we did today was the 80 series, so like a 8028 or 8054. The 80 series, the older versions. The one we did a couple rounds ago, the console N, or some of the newer ones, the late 80s, early 90s Neves, instead of like, the 60s and 70s Neves. The Focusrite was also made in the 70s, if I remember correctly. I might have my dates off for that one. But the 80 series, older, the console N, newer. Not the newest from Neves, but newer, like 90s kind of sound. SSL J, clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Pushing slowly, going away. Your head thinks don't mean anything.
This one is very, very, very subtle. And I know for a fact that with the SSL-J, because it was a newer console, it was cleaner sounding. So this one in particular, you do actually have to drive harder. You have to push the EQs, you have to push the compressor, you have to push the harmonics to distort more, like forcefully. You have to do more to make that happen. And it does have a different EQ curve on it as well. Didn't open up as much as the SSL-E did for me. But again, this one you have to push a little bit harder for that to happen. Never too much crash. So that's your SSL-J. We're at the end of our Brainworks consoles, or the Plug-in Alliance ones. Now let's go to a classic, the Waves SSL. This is the older version. Like I said earlier, this just got updated finally after many, many years. Not only is it it's a user interface update, but I believe some of the back end was altered as well. Clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When you call me, your head thinks don't mean anything. Just think of my world.
This one is very subtle, but it's in the low end. So if you're not listening on larger speakers, studio monitors, subwoofer, if you're not listening on any of that, you probably are not hearing what this one is doing happen. I can hear it in the kick drum. When I turn this on, the kick drum just gets a little fuller in the real subs. It just kind of fluffs up a little. It is hard to hear, but it is there and it is doing it. Smash Studios, yeah. It's still very transparent. Girls push, real men. What? So this one's real subtle. And their updated version might do more. I don't know. I don't have it. This is what I have. Now let's go to our last one, and then we'll get into like the crazy stuff. What we'll do without turning everything up is we'll turn them all on, and we'll just kind of stack them all as much as my computer can handle, because it's a lot of processing. Let's do some stuff with the slate. We'll start with the Brit 4KE on and off, and then we'll kind of cycle through relatively quickly. Clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When you call me.
This one, I will admit, unfair advantage. I have the drives on this one not in their default position, so it's louder. You're hearing it more. The default position, and now I'm going to double check something, is I think I can actually roll this one back, because I was smart that I did the grouping on this. So right now I'm looking at my bass. If I change this to... Oh, also, apparently the SSLs were still on. But with that scaled down and I change to this drum, oh goodness. Okay, all of my drives tied with it because of the slate grouping that's going on. Here's our actual clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When you call me, your head thinks don't mean anything. Just think of my world.
So this is doing a bit more than the Waves SSL was doing. It's more so in the low end. I can hear the bass kind of getting rounder and fuller, kind of around 100 hertz, maybe a little bit above there. And then the kick drum has like this extra fluff at the very low end. It's doing a little bit more in like the mid-range and top as well. But now let's take a listen to a different console, and we'll go through these relatively quickly. We'll switch from the E version to the G version.
I I feel crazy. I'm losing. When you call me, your head thinks don't mean anything. Just think of my world.
A little bit more subtle with the G. Very similar things. A little bit of harshness actually came out for me with the G on those crash cymbals. Let's switch to the USA.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When you call me, your head thinks don't mean anything. Just think about.
Nice top end lift, just almost like a shine happens. In the upper mids, the crashes in the hi-hat, not in a harsh way. They kind of get lifted a little. And so that's very nice for the USA from Slate Digital. Now the Brit N.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When you call me, your head thinks don't mean anything.
This one is a smile curve. Absolutely a smile curve. Turn this on and I can hear the boom, boom, boom of the kick drum. I can hear that coming through. Not really the attack of it, but just the actual, like the thud of it, the low end thump. The bass rounds out, and then the top end kind of shimmers up at the very top. So this is essentially a smile curve without actually doing EQ or anything. We'll go with the Trident console. Clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When you call me, your head thinks don't mean anything. Just think of my world.
This is actually making, for me at least, it's making these cymbals very harsh. It's adding a lot of saturation to those crashes, and not in a great way. You know, not to say that this is a bad sounding console. It's just bad sounding, in my opinion, right now for not having done anything else. It's not the perfect choice. Not that it's bad sounding. It's not the perfect choice. Now let's go with the RC Tube. Clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When you call me, your head thinks don't mean anything. Just think of my world.
This is adding a little bit of tube saturation. Nothing crazy. You can hear a little bit of harmonics up in the top end. Music to Motion thinks that the cymbals are a little bit too loud, and maybe they are in this mix. Brian King, you're welcome for the help. Any chance of getting more A-B comparisons? Is there something you want? Let me know. Vocals got super loud. All the upper harmonics are saturated. Yes, with the tubes, we're hearing a lot of the upper harmonics get saturated because that's the tube getting driven. This has been a very good demo of different channel strips and the way they will color the sound. Thank you, Music Motion. I'm going to catch up with you guys real quick, so I'm going to do this. Let's see. Blaze said, would you add a dynamic EQ cut at 1K on the Pro Q3 to control the clipping? Is something clipping? I'm sorry that it was. I can actually just kind of reduce things down ever so slightly. Just to kind of avoid some clipping. I think my volume may have dropped a little, but I'll just move a little closer to the mic for you. Okay, There's not a lot to catch up with. Yes, you can do it now. All right. This is what Studio Steve has been asking for. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Brian King was asking this before, how I'm turning everything on and off. Is I have everything in a group, and I just selected literally all of my channels. I didn't go one by one like this. It was actually easier for me to grab all of them and take the buses out. And then I just hit Control G, or Command G if you're on a Mac, and made a channel, and it put everybody together. So this channel, or this group, excuse me, has all of my inserts combined. So when I do something on one, it does it for all of them. Okay, I can't do all of them. Thomas Wynn with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Let's go slow. I'm gonna slowly. I know that the Neve console is causing a lot. Look at watch my performance meter. I'm gonna add as many as I can. Oh my goodness. Let's see if it can keep up with just 4.
I feel crazy.
Not really. You know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to work opposite.
I feel crazy. I'm losing.
So it's not crazy. And I know what Mika was asking for earlier. And that's actually... So here, let's go back to our science test. Let me open up the fab filter that's down here. I'm going to turn it on. And then I'm going to move fab filter over here for a second. Ready? Science test. Here's our clean 1K sine wave. When you turn on your Neve emulation and your API and your Focusrite and your Lindell. Oh, we dropped our output. I'm going to skip that one. Neve, SSL, 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 slate something. If we had everything on, not only would our 1K have, you know, tripled in magnitude, but look at all this harmonics. It's going all the way up. Where are you going all the way up to? Where are you? So 12K. This is when you have everything on. My computer can't handle it for all the channels. But when you have everything on, this is what it's doing. Crazy, right? Crazy. Crazy. Now everybody was asking, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to collapse my... Let's get the fab filter out of here real quick. I'm going to collapse all of my folders down. And you guys probably already know, but whenever I make folders, I turn them into buses. And we're going to ignore this one right now. I'm going to take all of these, and I'm going to put console shaper on. Oh, that didn't do everybody. That's fine. It's not going to take long to do that for everybody. So let's just go with console shaper. And I'm not going to do it on my mix bus. I'm just going to do it on these buses. And I wonder if I can... Buses. That's not going to work the same way. So we'll have to try and do it quickly. I have to figure a way to do that. Okay, so then let's do this. Clean mix, and I'll try and do this as quickly as I can. To turn on Console Shaper alone, this is the Studio One plugin. Console Shaper with just the default settings.
I feel crazy. I'm losing.
So it does definitely add some saturation. I'm sure everybody heard that. It was in the mids that this was happening, and we're not even really doing a ton of drive. Like I said, this is the default settings, 1.5 dB on the drive, but it is adding some of that saturation that everybody is dying for. They want that saturation. Maybe you are. I don't know. Let's change it up and let's go to CTC One, and we'll try and switch through our different consoles here. And again, this isn't going to be the fastest change through, but there are three. There's classic, there's tube, and there's custom. Custom is kind of similar to console shaper. Classic is a little bit more Neve-ish looking, and tube is actually closer to something like the EMI consoles or the red consoles from like the 50s and 60s. We're gonna stick everything onto classic right now, and this is what we're gonna listen to. Gain compensation, I mean, I guess these should be on bus, but I don't want to change anything. I just want it to be like kind of default. Mika, the pass-through setting is critical for the console shaper, and it is on. If we didn't have it on, like, then what's the point? All the channels going through wouldn't get this effect. So here we go. We're gonna go with CTC One classic. Let's do the same thing, and I'm gonna try. I hope I'm going fast enough. This really is kind of the fastest way I can do it, I think. Yeah, I don't know if I have a quick key to turn these on, but I'll do it the fastest way I can.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Voices call me. Show it away. Your head thinks don't mean anything. Just say goodbye, world.
Very subtle for the classic. So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch to tube for everybody and see if we can hear a little bit more. What's going on here? You, there. Let me turn everybody off, and we'll go to our clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Voices call me. Show it away. Your head thinks don't mean anything. Just say goodbye, world.
So the vocals get a little bit of saturation. Those cymbals again, which I mean, I guess I could find those cymbals, and it's the overheads and the rooms, and kind of just bring them down ever so slightly. Get out of here. So that was the tube console, and now let's just switch everybody over. I did it again to custom, and we'll try. Oh my goodness. Okay. Everybody's going to custom, right? Probably not. There. Okay. Trying to do this quick. Clean mix.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Voices call me. Show it away. Your head thinks don't mean anything. Just say goodbye, world.
So the custom CTC One is very mid-forward. It brought those vocals, like even the consonants that have been getting lost in this balance, it brings them forward. George, I've tried it, but no, effects. The melody is on the track. It does affect the effects. Oh, I got to catch up with you guys because I think you're talking about something else. But I think that's pretty much it. It's shown you how different console emulations sound. The ones from Presonus, the CTC One, and the Console Shaper, and then plenty from other manufacturers. Plugin Alliance and Brainworks, Slate Digital, Waves, and there's a million other ones out there. Let me actually catch up with you guys because you're definitely going on about something. So I want to see what you're talking about. Console Shaper, just what I was wondering about. That's kind of where I remember leaving off, was Studio Steve asking about Console Shaper. Hi, Thomas. Good afternoon. It's okay that you're late, man. You arrived exactly when you did, and we appreciate you being here. The pass-through setting is critical for the Console Shaper. That's right, Mika. I'm trying to get in touch with Ziggy for a midnight happy hour Zoom. You guys are crazy. Mika, I want to join a Zoom meeting at some point with a small group of us. The bass popped out. Yeah, the bass definitely popped out with some of these emulations from Presonus. The pass-through changes the signal summing flow in the shaper. Yes, and it also, like, the channels have to pass through, and then it all comes up through your mix bus. That's what pass-through actually does. Maybe I'll have to do a video on pass-through and how it actually works within Studio One. Not a bad idea, Mika. I'm gonna take that, and I'll call you out for it. Blades, put it on the master with pass-through mode, and then on and off on the master. Sure, we could do that on the mix bus. You know what, guys, want to do CTC One? Classic. Let's skip it for now. And then what I'm going to do, let me turn it back on. I'll put the drive up more, and this will hold through on all of our different ones. So we'll get some more of that saturation. So literally it's just going to be the one now going through that you can't see. Here it is. You're going to just drive it a bit more. So I went from like just 1 dB to like 8. So we're pushing it a little bit harder. Here it is out.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Your head things don't mean anything. Just say goodbye, world of me.
So that's the classic. Let's go quickly over to the tube.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Your head things don't mean anything. Just say goodbye, world.
This one definitely has a really nice mid push, because when this one is on, you guys may or may not know, there's acoustic guitars in here, and you can really hear them kind of come out and forward. You can hear the percussiveness of them. So I'm going to turn it off, and then I'll turn it back in and listen for the acoustic guitars.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Your head things don't mean anything. Just say goodbye, world of me.
So those come out, and let's go with the custom, and this will be the last one we'll do.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Your head things don't mean anything. Just say goodbye, world of me.
So there you go. I think somebody was saying before that the custom from CTC1 is darker sounding. And I don't know if it's necessarily darker sounding, but it's not adding as much drive to the top end. It is definitely the mids and the low mids that is getting a lot of the saturation for the custom. The only other one that we can do is switch over to the console shaper on our master. And we'll do the same thing where we'll kind of just drive it up.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. The voices calling. Your head, they don't mean anything. Just say goodbye, world.
Adds a lot of really low saturation. I can hear the kick drum getting fuller, and I hear a little bit more of the fluff and pump from that kick drum. Not pump, but like body and like chest of the kick drum with a console shaper. So there we go. We went over a lot. We did the science. We did a ton of comparisons. I want to catch up with you guys. Let's see, the console shaper and the CTC1, unless driven pretty hard in a not natural way, are extremely subtle. Yes, but we even turn these up to 8, and they can go all the way up to 18. And we did hear some things, but good observation, Blades. Yes, even more so on stream because there is YouTube compression, so you do have to deal with that. So make sure you test, your plugins and push them a little hard. That's actually one thing that Mika was saying before. It's going to take a minute to set up. Is actually if we just drive, like we turn up the THD on all of the consoles we were doing before and really get that saturation going. Maybe we'll do that. Personally, I prefer the console one for its effect on the signal. Good observation there, Blades. Music to motion, Mika Han, yes, but I won't post it here without Tim's approval. Music to motion, make it so. I haven't had that much luck using console shaper or CTC1 except in a subtle way. If you overdrive it too much, it's pumping. Yeah, it can absolutely do that. Mikahan, right. But you know what? Music and motion, if you're inviting everyone that's hanging out here, go ahead and drop a link in the chat. You are more than welcome, sir. At least it sounds almost pumping to me. There's a little bit of what it's doing is it's saturating. So the more signal that's in it is it's just filling out. So it actually does sound like it's getting compressed a little. And when it's thinner, you don't get as much saturation. There it is. If you want to hang out with Music to Motion and pretty much if you guys want to hang out after this, go ahead and click the link to the Zoom meeting, and that'll happen probably immediately after the show or shortly thereafter. You guys can hang out and talk one-on-one. Maybe I'll drop in for a few minutes. Who knows? Do you have a go-to for specific instruments? You're very welcome, Music and Motion. Do I have a go-to? Well, for some things I do. And sometimes I change it. I try not to. I'm actually trying to get more so into just like, here's my template. I want to push forward and things like that. Some of my go-tos is I really, really know the SSL-E channel, primarily the Waves one, but I'm getting more into moving this thing around. I'm getting more into the Plugin Alliance Brainworks SSL-E. I love an SSL for drums. When I would work in studios, and when I still would work in studios, if it's a studio that has an SSL, I know how to drive that console to get some really nice drum sounds, or at least in my opinion, what I think are really nice drum sounds, and that's who I have to sell it to, me and the band. Although I've done drums through Neves before, and APIs, it's all different kinds of things. But do I have go-tos? No, but it's more so learning what the characteristics of those consoles are and then playing to its strengths. So Neve style consoles have a very warm, rich, low mid fluff to them. So like bass style instruments can sound really good going through Neve style things. Not to say you can't put like vocals through them, and they'll get that nice same warmth that you'll get out of a Neve, or guitars, or drums, or piano. It's playing to the strengths. If you want something warmer, maybe a Neve style thing. If you want something a little cleaner but has a little bit more kind of in your face saturation kind of thing, API or SSL. I need to mess around with the focus rate a bit more. It's getting them, putting things through them, learning. This, again, like we were saying before, we're not driving the channels, although we might in a minute. We're not driving the channels, so we're not really doing a ton. But it's learning the tools that you have. And that's huge. Once you learn the tools, you're gonna be like, okay, well, what this one does for this kind of sound, I like, so I'm going to do this. Oh, it's at 12. It's the midnight bar. Hey. Thanks, Ziggy. Studio Steve, thank you. I'll come and hang out. Everybody's gonna hang out on the Zoom. So that's cool. Can you get the Slate plugins without the subscription? Yeah, you can buy them straight out. You get more if you do the subscription, but I understand subscription models aren't for everybody. So that's totally up to you. Okay, I want to do something real quick because I think Mika is going to enjoy this. First, I'm going to do that. I'm going to remove everybody. I don't know why this isn't working. Oh, not disable, just remove. And again, this is how I did it before. It's easier to just select everything. And honestly, it doesn't matter at this point. Oh my god. There it goes. Remove all. All right. Clean slate, right? What were some of you guys' favorites? Let's throw a couple on here on all the channels and we'll drive them like crazy. Does that sound like fun? We could do that. That'll be a lot of fun. So what were some of your favorite consoles that we did today? What do you want to hear a little bit more? Do you want to hear more drive from the Focusrite or some maybe the API? Well, what are you thinking? Ironweeds, you're going to get like a fast track in a second, bud, because everybody's going to say what some of their favorite consoles that we went over tonight are, and we're just going to drive the heck out of them, because why not? We're in the digital world. Who cares? You can parallel process using ST and RLD. Could. Have you tried using Softtube and Red Light District for some mix drive yet? Red Light District doing a little saturation, yes. Also, Joe on the main Presonus channel just put out a really cool video, inspired by my videos, if I do say so myself, how I do the stock plugin series things. He did a really cool breakdown of the Red Light Distortion plugin. I think I just naturally say Red Light District plugin, whatever. It's the Red Light Distortion. He put out an awesome video going over all the controls and everything. Have I done it before? Yes, you absolutely can do it to get a nice little bit of saturation. Actually, in my saturation video, which was linked earlier in the chat, I had a mix and I think it was drums, and I put Red Light Distortion on it to do just a little bit of saturation with red light. But I don't have Mika, I don't have Softtube, so I haven't really played with that. Can you what did I miss? Something zipped real quick. Music to Motion said, can you do something such as star this show? This example of channel strips is such a good example. The science behind it was very good. You know what you can do? You can like it. If you go ahead and hit the thumbs up, it actually adds into a YouTube list of videos that you've liked. So you could do that. You can also hit the save for later button, which is available on YouTube. And you can just keep coming back. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Come back. Check out all these things. I'm finally doing the YouTuber thing of like, smash that sub, hit that like. You guys know I don't say any of that in any of my videos. Ironweed, don't even worry about it. We're going for quick. You can parallel process. Oh, that's what you're saying. You can parallel process on the soft tube and the red light distortion because there's a mix knob built in. Very nice, Mika. Although Neve had very upper mid range. I like. Okay, just drew my system. Music to motion. Which Neve? The console N or the 80 series, the very first one that we did. I know it was a while ago, but still. Probably anything from Slate from Robert Atkins. Saturation knob from Soft Tube. Yes, you absolutely can do the saturation knob. And it's free. SSL. Which SSL Smash Studios? You got to let me know. We went over a bunch. You can't just say SSL. Need to listen on my own system and really hear on all of this accurately. The procedure were very instructive. I'm glad to hear that you thought that it was instructive. That's great. The red light is on. Wink. With the splitter, you can do multi-band overdrive. You absolutely can, and you can do a lot of really cool stuff. On a bass guitar, maybe everything over 250 hertz, 300. Put a little bit of saturation on that, so it really pokes through your mix, and you have a nice solid low end. You didn't hear it from me, but you could. I'm thinking about it. Yes, you are a YouTuber. Oh God. Oh God. Like, feed that algorithm. Yeah, please. And then Robert, I've been using Camel Crusher in parallel. Nice. Camel Crusher is a really cool little distortion plugin. It's a free plugin. Does pretty good. Take this example and also check the Harrison. Take this example and check out the Harrison mix bus. I own it and transfer it to you. Smash Studios forgot to take notes. All right. I'm going to pick a couple. So some of you guys were saying, and let's go back into here, the Lindell 80. So what I'm going to do is I took my group off because what I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to add the strips, and I'm going to drive the distortion all the way up. And I'm just going to do it on this one for now, and then you'll see how we can do this to everybody. And it's going to make my computer explode, but you know what I want to do is this one. I want to hear the API all the way up. I want to hear the focus rate all the way up. And then I want to hear the SSLJ all the way up. And those are the ones that we're going to go with. SSLJ all the way up. And also, this is what we're going to do. All right, ready for this? This one. Down to you. No buses. And I'm just hitting commands while I'm clicking, and that'll take it out of the group. It'll take a second. My computer's trying to it's trying to keep up with us. So you saw I went into each of the plugins on the kick track, and I just went to the harmonic distortion and I cranked it all the way up. And now it's trying to do it through all of my channels. And once this goes away, we're going to do it for the other ones as well. And then we'll turn our group back on, turn everybody off. There's our Neve. Drag and drop. Beep, 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 beep. Here comes our API. We also have to do the focus rates, and then we have to do the SSL as well. So, Ironweed, get ready for saturation. And then this will be it. We're going to wrap it up after this, if my computer can even keep up with this stuff. Come on. We might only get through 2 of them because we should wrap up. Okay. Come on. Go, go, go. Quick, quick, quick. Before. It was the SSLJ that is based off the 9000 that seems to be the most transparent to me. When you drive the THD on the consoles, maybe it won't be as transparent. Smash Studios has sharpened their pencil. That's fine. You can always replay. Yes, these are every one of my live streams is always available as a replay. And now that I've gotten into the habit of actually giving a title to everything, you can look it up. For a little while, I was doing just Friday Night Live. And I was like searching for something today. I was like, I did a live stream on it. I forget which one it is. Name your things when you're going to YouTube. It's easy for you to remember as well. All right. Last thing. That one's going. It's putting the SSLJs in. So before we get into this, I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out. I hope you learned some stuff, because learning stuff is cool. It's how you can actually make yourself a better engineer and mixer, is learning the strengths of some of these consoles and channels. Robert Atkins is definitely going to have to replay this one. Even I am too. I mean, I learned some stuff while I was listening to this and how these consoles sound, especially now that we're going to be doing like the overdrive. Once this is done, putting all of my J strips in, which I think it's about to. So let's do this. The computer's freaking out because of the processes. It's going to be loud. So what we're going to do is we're going to play with the consoles all the way up, and we're not going to listen to the clean mix because we're just going to get a volume bump, I'm thinking. Let me turn my group on, because we want to turn all of the extra. Wait a second. All channels. Come on. All right, you want to be that way? Fine. I know how to play your game. I'll just do that. Okay, so I think it's going to be unfair if we play the clean version. I think what we're going to do is we're going to hit play, listen to the Neve, then we're going to go to the API, then to the Focusrite, then to the SSL. Okay, ear training time. Headphones in, eyes closed. Neve.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When the voice is calling,
API. API.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When the voice is calling,
I lied. I took the APIs out. Let's do clean to Neves. Overdriven. Clean. Clean.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When the voice is calling, your head thinks don't mean anything.
I like what the Neve's doing. Let's listen to Focusrite. Here's the clean.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When the voice is calling, your head thinks don't mean anything. Just say goodbye, world of me.
So the Focusrite just gets louder. It's doing a lot too, but it's definitely louder. API is brighter. Focusrite is way better. Holy moly, crushed it. Yeah. Okay, ready? Here comes the SSLJ. Clean mix first, and then we'll come back. We'll say goodnight. And then you, music to motion, put the Zoom link in again.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. When the voice is calling, your head thinks don't mean anything.
is your SSL-J. Again, the Focusrite in the SSL-J did have some volume bumps, and sorry for the, hopefully the shock mount made sure that it wasn't too shaky for you. That's where we're going to call it. I hope you learned some stuff. This was a lot of fun. Ready? I've turned everything on.
I feel crazy. I'm losing. Yeah, when the voice is calling, don't show it.
Louder is better. That's what they say. Louder is better. And that's basically what we had there. There was a ton of saturation going on. It was getting real crunchy. But it made it loud. All right. Last few things. There's no competition. There isn't it isn't as harsh to my ears. I also turned those cymbals down for you there, Music Motion. ABs are not at unity gain, so that complicates the comparison analysis. Yes, at this point it does, because we were just driving more saturation, and I did it on the fly and I didn't balance it. So yes, absolutely, the volume differences are going to make you think, oh, that's louder, that's better. If you were going to do this on test, make sure you volume match. It's less harsh on the high end. Wonderful show tonight and great ideas. Glad to hear that. Thank you. Oh my goodness, my mouse is really, oh, I know why. The main computer is freaking out because of all the plugins I have going on. Wonderful show, good idea, and glad you did this one. I'm glad I did it too. If you guys have ideas and you want to let me know, what you can do is follow the link in the description to join my Discord and hang out with us, where we just kind of chat, talk gear, talk mix reviews, talk original compositions, video ideas, looking for feedback. The link for the Discord is in the description. So if you want to join and be a part of that community, please come. It is very welcoming. We're all here to help each other. And if you have ideas for next week's live stream, I am always open. But I have a feeling, since an update to Studio One's coming out, I have a lot of work next week to make a lot of videos. We'll see though. Music Motion, I thought it would blow away my speakers though, but it didn't. No, it was just saturated. Thanks. Smash Studios says thanks, very informative. See you next week. All right, I will see everybody next week. Didn't know if seltzer water was allowed in the midnight happy hour. I can get another one. I'm just saying. I know a better way to spend a Friday night. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Go join the Zoom if you want to. Maybe I'll be there. And I will see you all next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.